Hey everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Dharma Funder, a transformationalist and sought-after speaker who helps ambitious leaders overcome anxiety, eliminate procrastination, and build unshakable confidence. With over 700 success stories, Dharma's proven strategies empower high-achieving professionals to break through barriers, reclaim clarity, and lead with purpose. How are you doing today, Dharma?
I'm doing really great. Thank you so much for having me. I am excited to be here.
No, I was excited to have you on. I enjoyed our conversations that we've had. I know it took us a little bit to get you on here, just scheduling. My bad. But I'm really excited that you're here. You're doing a lot of awesome things, and I think some people out there would definitely benefit from getting to know you. So to start off, where are you located? Where are you calling in from?
I am in the Santa Cruz Mountains, just south of San Jose in California.
Okay. You a lifer? You been there forever, or are you newer to the area?
No, now here 17 years, but originally I'm from Denmark.
Okay, awesome. Well, if you have friends coming into town that have never visited you before, where are you going? What are you doing for fun? And where are you guys going for dinner?
Honestly, we go for a hike, which is about a mile down the road, which is I think it's called Fall Creek. Has a great waterfall, and it's right in our own backyard, surrounded by redwood trees. It's stunning and beautiful, and I never forget. It's like, wow, I can't believe I live here. Where do I go for to eat? I actually make everything myself. I got food allergies, so I cook.
Okay. Well, what's your specialty when you're cooking? Like, kind of what's your go-to if you're really trying to impress some guests?
That's a good question. It depends on the person. I have a few friends that I will always do lamb chops. Others will have pork roast. And then I have another friend who is a vegan, and I will have a vegan kind of Brazilian kind of a dish that I put together.
That all sounds good. I think I'm doing a pork loin tonight. I have a sous vide, so I'm just gonna let it go, take its time. That way, I can do all the other stuff that I have to and have it ready. So, I like easy cooking. I like cooking, but I also don't like overly complex. So,
You will be
um,
surprised. It actually only takes about an hour for each.
oh really? Even for the roast? That's interesting. An hour of cook time or an hour of your time?
Actually, it is about 15 to 20 minutes of prep time,
Mhm.
and then you just need to leave it alone.
That's my kind of cooking. Throw in that
Exactly.
crock pot, throw in the sous vide, let it do its
Exactly.
thing.
It's
So,
easy, and it will be on the stove, just doing its thing, and it will be done.
yeah, my favorite is the things that come out that way, and then people are impressed. You're like, oh yeah, it was super hard. No,
Yeah, no, no,
minimal effort, maximum result. That's what I'm here for.
exactly.
So, awesome. Well, what can you tell us about what you do?
Well, what I do is that I help you show up in your true self, which means in confidence with self-realization and determination. There's nothing that will ever shake you. That is what I do for you.
Okay, and you call that a transformationalist. What does that mean at its core?
So what that means is that I have something that people call magic or an intuition. I can sit with you for about 15 minutes. You will tell me what's going on in your life, what is not working and what is working. Reading that in between the lines, I am able to find out what it is that is making you not show up. For example, your personal lie. I'm not good enough. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be saying that. I can't ask for that. The procrastinator, the burnout, this self-talk that often happens in the back of our minds without us even noticing. And I'm able to pull it to the forefront without you feeling that you're being confronted. And I will give you the tool to shift it right then and there. That's what a transformationalist will do.
Okay, is this something you've always been doing, or something that you've always wanted to do, or what's the story? How'd you get to where you are?
It's something that I've always done. It's just There's something to when somebody was even sharing this story with me, is that in school, when I would help out others in school, and instead of them being afraid of a topic, let's say learn how to do math or learn how to do English or any of these things, and then sit with them and work together and find a way to encourage them to actually show up and get it done. And I've always had a very unique skill to pull out individuals who does not want to show up, to have the courage to do so. And through my own life, I've had a very adverse life. It's been extremely abusive, in a lot of mental abuse, sexual abuse. Finding a way to still show up and not become defined by those episodes in my life, but still see through it. I realized that we all have this internal resilience, and we can allow the personal law to drive us, because the nervous system remembers everything. Have you ever heard that there's a book, Your Body Remembers Everything? Your body stores everything, and it will remember without your brain even knowing. I can give you an example. You walk into the room, you know exactly where the light switch is. You get into the car, you know exactly where to go when you want to run an errand, because you go to the same store over and over and over. But if I ask you to get into my car and drive to my store, you're actually going to have to make an effort to remember. That's how the brain works. So this information is stored in our nervous system, and it communicates with the brain and tells us what to do. That is our personal law. So I have had that ability throughout my life, throughout my career, and had arguments with psychologists because they say, no, you shouldn't be doing this. And anyway, I can go on and on. So,
No, there's definitely something to that. There's reflexes. They don't go to the brain before they're triggered. So like the stretch reflex, when they test your knee with the little hammer, that signal doesn't go to your brain before it reacts. I think it makes it to your spinal cord, and then it bounces back and say, nope, don't do that. Right? We got to kick the leg out. So there's definitely something to that. So that's interesting. So what do you love about what you're doing?
What I love the most is to hear my clients' success stories. One, I'll just give you my very first conversation, which is just a complimentary 30-minute. It was difficult for this individual to even finish the sentence because they were in tears. And the anxiety was so strong that just trying to say something or even get out of the house was almost impossible. And somebody needed to actually be there to help them run errands, because I can't do this. And after 6 months working with me, she's running her own errands. She got in the car and drove to the doctor on her own. And she was like, I can't believe I did that. Her husband was like, wow, it's like my wife now wants to go bar hopping again, dancing. It was like, wow, he got his wife back. And she got her freedom back. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. When you can actually help somebody and you see it come to fruition, that's amazing. So what are some what advice would you give somebody starting off as an entrepreneur? Because you're an entrepreneur, you've had some hard-won lessons, I'm sure. We all do. We all go through them. What's some advice that you'd give somebody starting off, or that you would go back in time and give to yourself when you were starting?
Boy, it's, as an entrepreneur, we go through the ebbs and valleys and the flows and peaks of success and failure. And you can't do one without the other. If I could go back in time and tell myself something, in 20 years, you're going to be doing this, I think the one thing I would tell myself is that don't care what anybody else says about you. You can only control the perception of you, but you can't control their thoughts. That would give me the freedom, because I was stuck in that pattern of I need to people please. I need it to always be liked, because otherwise I would be doomed. So if that would be my one advice for somebody today. This is what my advice is: consistency. No matter what, always show up for yourself. When we do things for ourselves, it is so much more valuable. And what I will tell some of my clients is I would turn it around and I'll say, okay, you have no problem showing up for your employer. You will sell and do anything and move mountains, go above and beyond for them. Now it's time for you to do that for yourself. You deserve that. Consistency and your failure is your opportunity to lean forward and fail forward and use it as a building block, because we all screw up, we all make mistakes, but that is how we grow.
That's great advice. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. So
yes,
keep doing it, right?
Exactly.
And if you fail, good. You just learned a lesson and you can try again. I think that's the big thing. A lot of people, they'll end up with either imposter syndrome, when like, who am I to do this? Or they'll end up with, just the ability not to hear no, or to, like what you said, people please. So absolutely great advice. Love that. What does your average client look like, or what are the pain points that somebody might be going through that if they're dealing with XYZ, you're the person that they need to be talking to?
The majority would actually have anxiety, and they've already tried therapy, they've already done the coaching, but it is not changing how they end up showing up. Because the anxiety, the root cause of the anxiety has not changed. And anxiety is like an emotion that starts very small, but because we keep ignoring it and we keep pushing it down, it will get stronger and stronger and stronger. So typically, they engage with an argument with their spouse because they need to have the tension out somewhere. They are snapping at their kids because the children will know exactly how to push your button. It's inevitable. Or you're just not able to show up at work. You know you got to get this done, and you know that you're falling short. It's like you're procrastinating. There's something that is preventing you from moving forward. So it is high achievers. It is the CEO. It is the actors, those who are standing in front of people and need to perform. They are the ones who are typically coming to me because they're like, how do I show up no matter what?
Okay, I gotcha. What about power partners? What does that look like? What are some other professions or other professionals that you might synergize well with and find a lot of collaborative opportunities with?
Oh, business coaches. I collaborate with a lot of business coaches because the business coach can show you what to do in business, but they don't take always care of the emotional side of what it means to show up. That's one aspect. Other counselors and therapists, where they see that, this may not be the right client for me, maybe they will benefit from Dharma, because I will refer to somebody else. Because if they need more of a psychotherapist, then that is where I will send them.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, especially on the coaching side, you're absolutely right. They may handle the business side, and you may be able to handle the personal side, but both, they interact with each other. If the business is going bad, it's going to overlay. If the personal side is going bad, it's going to. So definitely two sides, the yin and the yang of it, so to speak. So
Exactly.
awesome.
Yes.
How can ambitious leaders overcome anxiety and build unshakable confidence?
How? Well, boy, it's a mindset shift. I can give you an example. In the beginning, for me, it could take 3 days before I would be able to snap out of it, because I would be stuck in my own internal dialogue. It is a narrative that we keep repeating to ourselves, and the nervous system will feed off of it. Once you start to get the tools to stop how that narrative will run, that is when you will be able to actually stop it. So I'm going to ask you to repeat the question because I want to make sure that I really answer it correctly.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah, how can ambitious leaders overcome anxiety and build an unshakable confidence?
Yes. So, step number one is to allow yourself the response. So, for me, it was I would get upset about something and I would become anxious. Because for me, and for any ambitious individual, we have high expectations. And if we don't live up to the expectation, we let ourselves down. So, giving ourselves the grace that we are not perfect and change the narrative. And one thing that I would do right now, if you're listening to this and you know this is you, I would inhale for 4, hold it for 4, and then exhale for 8. Your breath is the most powerful tool that you can use. Second, if you have anxiety and the horse is out of the barn and you are in it, move. Literally move. Stand up, stretch, reach, go for a walk. It is the best tool that you can use right now to break how the nervous system is firing to the brain. Because anxiety is maybe not always something that you're afraid of, because it is a signal that you care, and it is a signal that is so closely related to excitement that it sometimes leans into anxiety. And then we become insecure, and then we get afraid. And so those would be some of the tools that I would share right now.
How can somebody eliminate procrastination?
Well, why do we procrastinate? What is it that we don't want to do? Write it down. Procrastination is the fear of what we don't want to do. We may not be good at it. We may not want to. Well, write it down and get a checklist and do it. There is no way around it.
Okay. How can somebody take their biggest challenges and turn it into their greatest strengths?
You need to back into it. So think of it this way. You're standing in front of a big challenge right now. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, anything, you want to get a promotion and you're really kind of in that. Think back last time you actually had a similar situation. You had a very big challenge and you were able to overcome it. How did you do it? Back into it. You overcame it and you came out on the other side. I used to run half marathons and I'm not going to be able to make that. You see the narrative? How did I get there? I did it. Was it easy? No. Opening your own business, is it easy? No, but I did it. Think back of how you did it last time and look at the steps that you did that brought you to the success. Because it's not the first time you're at this point in your life. It's just different. And what are some of the steps that you've done in the past that you can do again? So back into it. You have an obstacle? I have a few. Well, I do the same. I back into it and I remind myself I've done it before. And it's like, oh yeah, I did do that. Yeah, I could do. Oh yeah. Okay. It kind of normalizes things in your nervous system. And when your nervous system calms down, it tells your brain to relax. And all of a sudden, you're going to be able to think clearly.
Yeah, that's great advice. And the more that you do it, the better that you're going to get at doing it. So you've already done it. Do it again and again and again, and before you know it, I like that. Is there anything that we missed that you really wanted to add?
Ooh, a few things. Well, I do have a free gift. So make a comment in the chat and then I will connect you with a free gift, which are 10 tools that you can use when you have anxiety or you're in a stressful situation. 10 very easy tools that you can use. Second, if you want to meet me in person, I'm actually going to go to the Oscars on March 2nd. So I'm going to be in LA. So if you're there, let me know. I would love to connect with you in person. And yeah, just a few things.
Awesome. Well, for those that want to connect with you, what's the best way they do that? Where can they find you and how can they get a hold of you?
The best way would actually be get on LinkedIn, get on my calendar, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm even on TikTok. Just send me a small little message and I will reach out to you personally.
That or go to the Oscars, right? One of those is a little easier than the other. Perfect.
Well, if you're in LA, it's just...
So perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Dharma, absolutely do so. You're going to walk away from that conversation being a little bit happier, a little bit less anxious. So I'd recommend it. Have that conversation. If you've ever went through any kind of anxiety, which most of us have, or if you've ever had that imposter syndrome, or if you ever went through anything like that, have that conversation to at least somebody. Get some help. Dharma's great for that. So absolutely reach out to her. And I'm going to put all their links and everything in the show notes so we don't have to hunt for it. But if somebody out there would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Dharma. If you or somebody you know would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But Dharma, I really appreciate you taking the time, coming on here, kind of sharing your story and what you do. You're doing awesome things, and more people need to get to know you. So let's do that. Let's all reach out. Let's have an awesome day and go grow our circles. All right.
Great. Thank you so much for having me. And I got a few referrals for you.
Looking forward to it. Take care.